Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. And today we're going to talk about the Texas divorce process. And again, this only covers divorces that occur in Texas. Now, we're going to go over the considerations that you need to think about before filing for a divorce. Then we're going to go over the steps that are involved in a divorce. And finally, I'm going to talk about issues related to immigrants or foreign nationals that are looking to get a divorce in Texas. There are three major considerations that you have to think about before you file a divorce. The first one is, if you are pregnant, Texas is not going to allow you to get a divorce. So if you think that you may be pregnant, you might want to take a test, because if you file the paperwork and the courts determine that you're pregnant, that divorce is not going to be effective. Even if you filed the divorce and you don't tell the courts, if they later found out that you were pregnant, they may determine that that divorce is not effective as well. So you want to make sure that you do a test before you file the paperwork to make sure that you're not pregnant. The second major consideration is whether or not you or your spouse have lived in Texas for at least 6 months and in the county where you're filing for the divorce for at least 90 days. And let me explain. In Texas, the only people that can file it are people that Texas has jurisdiction over, and this means power over. And the way that Texas works is that they want to make sure that you have lived in Texas for at least 6 months. So if you have traveled to Texas from another state, they're not going to allow you to get a divorce until you have lived in Texas for at least 6 months. Also, depending on where you live, let's say, for example, if you live in Fort Bend County, Texas, and then you move to Harris County, Texas, and you want to file a divorce, you may have to wait a couple of months because they want to make sure that you have lived in that county for at least 90 days. The third major consideration is also the biggest consideration, and that is knowing whether or not your case is a contested or uncontested divorce case. An uncontested divorce case is where both parties agree to the terms of the divorce. Usually these people agreed on who gets the house, how the expenses or debts are going to be divided. They agree on every aspect of the divorce, and this is great. We want to encourage all couples out there listening to get an uncontested divorce. That way the divorce is not messy. Now, if the terms of the divorce are not agreed on by the parties, then you have yourself a contested divorce case. Contested divorce cases, I see these most often with couples that have children. Contested cases usually involve couples that don't agree on who gets the children, what the visitation schedule is like, the amount of child support, how to divide the house, how to divide the money in the bank, how to divide the cars or the debts. These are issues that if they're not resolved initially, it means that you have yourself a contested case. Contested cases take longer and they're more expensive. We'll make a video on contested cases in the future, but as of today, we're going to focus on uncontested cases and what will happen if both parties agree and how the process will look. So again, to recap, the major considerations are whether or not one party is pregnant, whether or not Texas has jurisdiction over your case, and third, whether or not your case is contested or uncontested. Now that we've gone over the three major considerations before filing a divorce, let's talk about the steps in getting a divorce in Texas. The first step in getting a divorce in Texas is filing a petition with the court. And a petition is just a document telling the court what your name is, what your spouse's name is, that you're married, and you want a divorce in Texas. In addition to this petition, you're going to pay a filing fee or a government fee to process your application. The next step after filing the petition is that you have to file a waiver. And a waiver is it's a document just telling the court that the other party agrees to the terms and conditions of the divorce. The next step is that you have to wait at least 60 days before you can finalize the divorce. So in Texas, the courts do not want couples to get mad at one another, file a divorce, only to regret it later on. So they have put together a safety mechanism. So the safety mechanism is that you have to wait 60 days after you initially filed it before you can go out to court to finalize it. This is called a cooling off period. There is little you can do to speed up the process. Usually, for the most part, you have to wait those 60 days. So on the 61st day, then you go out to court to finalize the divorce. The final step in getting a divorce in Texas is just simply going out to court to finalize everything. When you go out to court, make sure you bring the final decree of divorce, and this is a document that you'll fill out just stating the final terms and conditions and stipulations related to your divorce. If you have children, this is where you submit the child support related documents. There are a lot of documents when you have children, so make sure that you fill out all the documents correctly and accurately. So if you have all of these documents and you go out to court, the judge is going to go over a couple of questions with you. They're going to ask whether or not you lived in Texas for 6 months before filing, whether or not you lived in the county for at least 90 days before filing. They're going to look over your original petition, your waiver, your final decree, and if all these documents are correct and they're valid, they're going to grant your divorce that day. Now let's summarize the divorce process in Texas. The first step is to file a petition with the court. The second step is to file a waiver with the court. The third step is to wait those 60 days during the cooling off or waiting period. And the fourth step is to go to court to finalize the divorce and submit any other documents necessary for your divorce case. And those are the 4 steps on how to get a divorce in Texas. Now, before we wrap this video up, I want to give a tip to any foreign nationals or any immigrants living in the U.S. that are thinking about getting a divorce. Now, sometimes a divorce will impact your immigration case. So if you're dealing with immigration, whether or not you are a conditional green card holder, whether or not you're currently submitting application to immigration at this time, or whether or not you are thinking about applying for naturalization, the divorce may impact your case. So make sure that when you hire someone that they're knowledgeable in both immigration and family law to handle your divorce. A lot of family attorneys that don't know anything about immigration, they don't see why it's such a big deal, and they'll file your documents very quickly and without thinking about how it can impact your immigration case. So again, make sure that you hire an attorney that knows about immigration and also about family law if you are a foreign national immigrant in the U.S. and you're looking to get a divorce. Make sure they know what to put in your final decree of divorce to make sure that you're not going to have any future immigration issues. Again, thank you for watching Winning Law. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and click the like button below and let us know. If you want to be alerted for future videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on future videos. Again, thank you for watching Winning Law, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David Nguyen.